Hey there, everyone. Welcome. It's Lotus. Thanks for being here today, and I hope everything is going perfectly in your world. So I'm throwing out that perfectly in your world because I want to venture a talk today about what if everything is absolutely perfect, exactly how it is. Just think for a moment, right? Just feel into that. If you need to just close your eyes and see how your body, your mind, your emotions react to that, depending on whatever is going on in your world. What if everything is perfect? Nothing is wrong. So just feel that. So if you're like me, there might be a little kick up of anxiety, resistance, no, 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 that's not true. This and this and this and this, is swirling, feels chaotic, feels bad in my life and in my world. So one of the biggest things that gets in our way of our actual growth is fighting against what is and staying sort of in this trapped place, right, of that mouse, for instance, that mouse in the field that's in survival, that doesn't like what's happening, that is moving from that fight or flight, right, that's looking to survive. So things that feel bad feel like they threaten that survival as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this into the eagle view, and we'll probably pop up and down, up and down. This in itself is a skill, right? To be able to recognize when we're in the mouse and have the development and the practice to take our consciousness up into the eagle view. So if this resonates with you, then thanks for being in the channel today and listening. And if you'd like to subscribe, if you hadn't, that would be great. If you like this kind of topics and conversations and embodied experiences. All right, so whatever, and if everything is feeling perfect, that's awesome. Okay, so keep this in mind for when things start to feel not perfect again. So let's look at the word perfect. Usually when we think of perfect, we think of everything is in order, everything feels good, everything is neat and tidy, right? Everything is contained. Everything is understood. Everything is under control. These are all these different ways that we can experience the quality of perfection. There is nothing at all wrong. So we gauge our life as not being perfect probably most of the time. When in essence, if we take the word perfect and recognize that perfection lies in everything and anything we make conscious. So this is similar to living a sacred life. When we live sacredly, we stay connected. We stay present with what is happening without labeling or judging right, wrong, good, or bad. That doesn't mean that things don't perhaps require refining and redefining or realigning, but it's that recognition that from where we're at, everything is showing up appropriately. And then we shift internally to refine and define and realign what would be a higher experience? What would be a more pleasant experience? But to get to the pleasant experience, sometimes we have to be in acceptance that what's happening now is perfect because it's showing us how and what needs to shift and change in our internal landscape. So I have a habit of very easily being dissatisfied. And it shows up in all sorts of ways. And when I'm in that habit, when I'm really locked in it, is usually when I'm really aware of the things that maybe have not come to fruition in the way that I want, or maybe I feel powerless in some way to make a change. And so I start projecting where things are wrong, where things aren't how I want them. But I miss the fact that everything is showing up to show me where I'm out of alignment, or where I need to refine, or where I need to see that I'm dissatisfied. And that my dissatisfaction in and of itself is the problem. Because my dissatisfaction then creates the perception from inside of me what I am seeing and what I'm experiencing, and I label it then as not being good enough. It's wrong. It doesn't feel good. It's not how I wanted it to be. If only it could be, right? This or that. So we do this with situations, we do this with people, we do this with places. So one of the things that I really love that Richard Rudd of the Gene Keys talks about is that dissatisfaction, though it happens to be, one of our shadow aspects that inhibits experiencing the joy of life and the higher qualities of life, that dissatisfaction is also one of the human conditions that kind of forces us to evolve. It forces us to be making changes. So it has this perfect message. It can show us, oh my goodness, there's a raccoon across the street. He's really cute. He's really big. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. What was I saying? So dissatisfaction shows me where I'm not being present, number one. Where I'm not able to see my cup half full. Instead it's half empty, or maybe I feel like it's completely empty. And simultaneously, it shows me that I want to grow and shift into higher states. And we can say, I want to shift into feeling better. Feeling better also are higher states. They're higher frequencies, higher bandwidths of energy, emotion, consciousness. So when we can come into acceptance of whatever is happening and just be with it and be curious and begin to ask the questions, why is this happening? What is my part in creating this reality that I'm sitting in, that I'm feeling, that I'm experiencing? What choices have I made? Have I made choices out of fear rather than faith, out of habit rather than being really conscious and present? Have I made choices out of feeling constricted rather than, and safe, right? Trying to stay safe, trying to stay in my box, rather than making choices that actually are going to stretch me out of my box and that are going to deliver a very different experience, but it feels new and unknown. So what we want to start to do is we want to begin to integrate curiosity, that childlike wonder. We want to be in acceptance of what's happening. And then from that place, we come out of the mouse and we come into a bigger point of view. We come into a more expanded, energetic space inside our body, which allows our consciousness to expand and see more different next level potentials. So that acceptance becomes a bridge. A lot of times people don't want to come into acceptance, and this isn't conscious. It's sort of like a knee-jerk reaction. If I accept this, then I'm going to be trapped here. If I accept that somebody is behaving in a certain way, then that means that I'm not setting boundaries, or I'm not defending myself, or I'm not empowered to have my say, or that they're just going to keep acting in this way that I am perceiving is wrong. If I'm in acceptance, then there's nothing for me to do, right? There's this collapse that we do. So acceptance is not something that we generally move into easily unless we're practiced at it. Acceptance really just means that in this moment, I'm going to be present with what is showing up. That's it. I'm going to feel. This does not feel how I want to be feeling in my life, in my body. And you're going to hold space with that acceptance. And then begin to inquire, how did I get here? What is mine? What perhaps is life showing me what I need to see, right? So this is the other key point to everything is perfect, is that life carries much more information than our conscious thinking mind does. Life carries deep encoded information that connects with our soul, that connects with our highest selves. Life brings to us, oftentimes with our co-creation, consciously or unconsciously, or the unconscious way that life interacts is through karmic patterns that we may not even know that we have from this lifetime or past lifetime. And life starts dancing with it, triggering it, allowing the perfect combination of people, places, and events to take place in order to trigger what needs to be resolved. Perfect. We want that. So once we can come into acceptance, once we can go, okay, maybe life is bringing this to me. Maybe somehow I've co-created this. The minute that we say we're a part of, I don't want to say problem, but, a part of the experience that isn't preferred, once I know that I'm involved with that in some way, I'm then empowered to co-create something different. If I negate any part of my responsibility, of the perfection that's happening, if I can't come into acceptance, if I don't recognize that this is a relationship that I'm engaging in with all points of view, then I'm limited. And I stay in this mouse. I'm feeling like a victim. I feel like things are happening to me rather than for me. So acceptance becomes this bridge to then open up into a wider scope, right? The aperture of our lens begins to open up, and we can start to recognize, oh, okay, I'm going to learn from this because that's why it's showing up. What is my lesson? What is the teaching that's happening? And I'm going to journal about it. I'm going to go into meditation. I'm going to go into sitting and listening and feeling. And then I'm going to take that information and I'm going to begin then to move forward and shift my perception, my thought forms. I'm going to see what baggage I've been carrying, maybe from my family line, maybe from past lifetimes. And then I'm going to start reframing it. Right? This is where the healing process comes in. But nothing is wrong, and I'm going to be patient because it takes time then for everything to recalibrate, because when we do this, we're changing our frequency. We're creating a higher vibration, and then things have to catch up around us sometimes. Sometimes it can be instantaneous, depending on how quickly we can really, redefine, refine, and realign, and that we know it on all levels of our being, because that's what's going to be required. We embody the new awareness, and then we take that information and we become it. So if I am feeling maybe that if I'm dissatisfied that there's not enough of something, right? There's not enough. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough connection with others. I don't have enough, whatever that is. The amount of time that I'm spending feeling I don't have enough, this isn't right, this isn't good enough, I want more. The amount of energy and time that I'm spending doing that actually makes me feel like I'm limited, puts me in a state of scarcity, and creates more dissatisfaction. So instead, I have to take a pause, and I have to recognize I have everything I need right now. This is perfect. My story is I don't have enough of fill in the blank. But when I take a pause and I'm accepting that this is how I feel, I can then look around and look at what I do have. Change my point of view and begin to nurture that. Nourish that. And over time then, if I'm practiced at that, if I'm cultivating that reality, I get to walk that new perception, perspective, that deeper level of fulfillment rather than dissatisfaction. I get to walk it through my life. I get to embody it. I get to walk that higher frequency onto earth. And the more that I am practiced at recognizing where I go into this limited construct, because there's going to be probably many examples then that are going to show up. Then I go, oh, I'm in mouse view, right? Oh, I'm in the field. I'm running around and I don't know where I'm going and I'm anxious and I'm frustrated and I can't get out, right? I'm in survival. I'm in fight or flight. You just recognize and go, oh, I'm in the mouse. Okay. I'm in the mouse. I'm feeling the mouse. The mouse is perfect. The mouse is informing me. Okay. And then we pull in the eagle view by acceptance that we're in the mouse. So we can make this a daily practice, right? Depending on your constitution, do you get triggered easily or do you collapse, right? These are two kind of extremes of when things aren't going right, when things don't feel perfect. We collapse away from it. I'm hopeless. It's hopeless. There's nothing I can do. Life is hard. This is happening to me. Or the other extreme is we fight against it, right? I'm not going to stand for this. I'm going to change this. I'm going to not accept this. Okay, so acquiescing and collapsing is different than acceptance. And fighting and resisting, right, just creates more agitation. So, and you might be somewhere in the middle. So as you go through your days, begin watching and recognizing that you have the capacity, right? This is part of our new, our superpowers, right? These are new muscles that we're starting to flex, to truly tune in to being co-creators with the universe, with life, but recognizing everything shows up for us, not against us. And everything is perfect. Perfect does not mean everything is in order, tidy, and that everything feels good all the time. So the invitation is shift your perception of perfection, shift your perception into understanding where you feel captive and where you can move into your freedom, and using acceptance as this bridge for higher seeing and deeper healing from up here, while recognizing what's in here. All right. Have a fabulous, have a lovely, see you soon. Much love.